What? Really? A gang boss just warned the city about you. Illegal post? Oh, they saw it. And now chaos is coming. Can you feel it? The streets are watching. Every eye is on you. Listen, don't blink. The city is shaking, hearts racing. They think they control the story, but you wrote the script. Every warning they sent, every threat, it only made you stronger. This video, it's not just words. It's a storm, a lesson, a call. Stick till the end, or miss the truth that everyone's scared to face. Drop your thoughts in the comments. We're building a legend here together. So, sit tight. Pay attention. Every line is designed to hit you hard. Are you ready to see the storm unfold and claim your place in it? They warned the city about you, but they didn't know the meaning of warning. Oh, that word warning hangs in the air like smoke choking the alleyways. The gang boss, perched on his throne of fear, spat it out with a grin meant to fracture courage. The streets swallowed it, every shadow trembling with anticipation. They thought the threat would bend you. They thought it would twist your spine, make you kneel, make you vanish into the cracks of the pavement. Nah, they have no idea. Fear is a language they speak fluently, but you translate it into something they can't comprehend. Power, precision, presence. Every post you dropped, illegal or not, was a spark. A single flash in the dark that drew every eye, every heartbeat into your orbit. The city buzzed. Oh yeah, it buzzed with whispers, and whispers, they're dangerous when you are the storm at their center. The boss thinks he's sending a signal of dominance, a line that cannot be crossed. But here's the truth. Every line they draw is just a suggestion to you, a guidepost marking where they've already lost. Every pixel of that post, a detonator. Every share, a pulse of inevitability racing through the veins of the streets. The night folds over itself. Streetlights flicker, indifferent. The city doesn't sleep, not really. It listens. Every shadow has ears. Every wall has eyes. And in that silence, in that crackling anticipation, your name grows louder. Not because you asked for attention. No, it grows louder because reality is drawn to you, bending to your orbit. The boss issued his decree, painted a target on your back, and smiled like he had won. But he hasn't even begun to see. The target isn't you, it's their fear of you. Oh, the irony is delicious. They act as if a warning can contain what cannot be contained. They shout from rooftops, as if the echo can reach the corners of inevitability. But here's the brutal truth. The echo is yours now. Every whisper of caution ricochets in their heads. Every threat dissolves into its own absurdity. And you move like a shadow over the city. Untouchable, unseen, unavoidable. The tension coils. Every eye tracking you tightens its grip like a fist around water. The illegal post, they think it's defiance. It's not. It's clarity. It's a mirror they can't turn away from. And mirrors, oh, they're cruel when they show you exactly what you fear most about yourself. And in that moment, the street exhales. It waits. For what? They don't know. But you, every corner they built, I've already rewritten. Oh, the stage is bigger than they imagine. They think the walls, the alleys, the flickering streetlights are traps. Nah. Those corners, those so-called boundaries are just outlines of a performance. And you? You are both the audience and the storm that shatters it. The city itself becomes a theater, every shadow a spectator, every footstep a drumbeat. Every illegal post wasn't rebellion. It was a rehearsal for the chaos they never saw coming. Yeah, the irony is sharp. They issue commands, draw borders, paint threats with the arrogance of authority. And yet, each instruction is a blueprint for your rise. Every whisper of caution, every anxious glance over a shoulder becomes a line in your script. You walk not with hesitation, but with rhythm, with clarity, with a presence they cannot decode. The boss sent warnings to cage you, but the cage, already broken, already irrelevant. The stage isn't theirs. Every eye in the city that watches you trembles, not from your fear, but from their own. Oh, it's delicious to see them fold in their minds, to hear the quiet panic that bubbles under the surface. And as you move through the streets, deliberate, calculated, every step is a pulse of inevitability. You are not reckless. You are the law of consequence, the gravity that pulls all chaos into alignment. The post, illegal or not, becomes a symbol, a marker. Every share, every comment, every spark of reaction is not a threat to be silenced. It's a mirror held to the city. And mirrors, yeah, they reflect more than faces. They reflect weakness. They reflect hesitation. They reflect the fear that no amount of warning can erase, and they hate it. Oh, how they hate it. And yet, you stay calm, calculated, patient, every movement precise, every glance a message. Not because you crave attention, but because attention bends to those who hold it without fear. You've learned that power is not the roar of dominance. It's the quiet that makes others tremble before the storm even arrives. And make no mistake, this storm is patient. Oh, very patient. Waiting, watching. Every alleyway, every rooftop, every lit window becomes part of the performance. The city itself is a maze designed to test the timid, to crumble the weak. And you glide through it, like a shadow that remembers every turn, every corner, every misstep the fearful have made before you. The stage is set, the audience unaware that the show is already over, except for the part where they are left guessing what comes next. Do you hear it? The city whispers your name and trembles. Oh, listen closely. Every whisper is a confession. Every glance over a shoulder betrays the truth. They refuse to speak aloud. The gang boss warned them. Yes, but the warning wasn't for you. Nah, it was for them. The illegal post, the spark that ignited the streets, didn't just announce your presence. It exposed their cracks, their hesitation, their weakness. And weakness is loud when it is mirrored back at you. Yeah, it's fascinating, almost beautiful, to see them unravel. They think they control the game, that their power is the final word. But every secret glance, every whispered fear, every frantic strategy betrays their reality. The mirror doesn't lie. It doesn't negotiate. It simply reflects what exists, and what exists is the truth they cannot deny. And you move through it with precision, aware of every reaction, every twitch, every heartbeat trembling in response to your inevitability. The city is alive, vibrating with tension. Each alley, each rooftop, each flickering window becomes part of a theater of awareness. And the audience, oh, they don't even know they're in it. The mirror is unforgiving. They watch themselves in every reflection of your post, every share, every ripple you create. And what do they see? Confusion, panic, anticipation, fear. The irony is sweet. They called it defiance, but it is clarity. They called it rebellion, but it is inevitability. Oh wow, the clarity is almost blinding. You realize that power isn't the roar of dominance, it's the reflection of truth that no one dares confront. You've learned to move like a shadow, a pulse, a presence they can't cage. Every illegal post, every act that drew their attention was not an act of chaos. It was a map, a guide through the labyrinth of their doubt. And you walk it flawlessly, deliberately, like a force they cannot measure. Every heartbeat in the city becomes a drumbeat to your rhythm. Every flicker of fear becomes a note in your symphony. And as they scramble, as whispers turn to shouts, as threats echo against empty walls, you remain calm, calculated, untouchable. Not because the world fears you, but because they fear their own inability to hold you accountable. The mirror has revealed them, and what mirrors reveal? Oh yeah, they cannot hide. And now, the tension coils tighter. The storm you carry is patient. It waits, it watches. Every shadow is a witness, every movement a question. And the city leans forward, curious and terrified, knowing the revelation is coming, and they will have no defense. Storms don't ask permission. They arrive. Oh yeah. The city feels it already. Every heartbeat, every flickering streetlight, every shadow creeping along the walls knows the storm is coming. And it isn't polite. It doesn't wait for the timid or the careful. It doesn't negotiate with those who cling to control. It comes. And you are both the calm before it and the force that shatters everything in its path. The gang boss warned them. The posts, the sparks, the chaos. They thought it was a threat they could contain. Nah, they underestimated the patience, the precision, the inevitability of what you carry. Every illegal post was a gust, a hint of the hurricane they refused to see. Every glance they steal in your direction tightens the coil. Every whispered fear fuels the wind. Every secret worry fans the flames. You are not reckless. You are the architecture of inevitability. The city itself seems to bend toward you. Oh wow. It is subtle, almost invisible, until it hits with the force of awareness. Rooftops tremble under footsteps. Shadows stretch unnaturally. Every alley becomes a question. Every corner a declaration. The storm is patient, but it will not forgive hesitation. And those who thought warnings could cage you, they are learning painfully that the storm doesn't care for threats. The storm doesn't negotiate. It simply executes. Yeah. The tension tightens. The fear that once flickered like candlelight now roars like wildfire. And as they scramble, calculating, predicting, planning, it is futile. Every move they make is already accounted for, every step already anticipated. You glide through the chaos with clarity, a force of inevitability. The post, the attention, the cities tremble. They are not distractions. They are instruments. Every reaction measured, every heartbeat, every whisper becomes a rhythm to orchestrate what is coming. Oh, the delicious part. They will never see it coming. Every warning they issued, every proclamation of dominance, every flicker of arrogance is a paper boat floating on the storm they can't control. And you watch, calm, collected, untouchable. Every second of hesitation from them feeds your momentum. Every doubt they harbor, every fear they suppress, becomes fuel for the inevitability you embody. The storm is here, not just in action, but in thought, in presence, in the weight of inevitability pressing down on the city's chest. And when it strikes, it will be perfect, not because it is loud or violent, but because it will expose the truth they cannot hide. The city will bend, tremble, and gasp, and you will stand at the eye, unwavering, untouchable, unstoppable. The city will remember your name, not because of mercy, but because of inevitability. Oh, the moment has arrived. The tension that twisted every alley, every shadow, every flicker of the city into anticipation finally snaps. The storm is not coming anymore, it is here. Every illegal post, every ripple, every echo of your presence has built to this precise second. And the gang boss, the so-called master of fear, realizes too late, nah, he was never in control. He never understood the rules. The rules belong to you. Yeah, the city itself seems to shiver in acknowledgement. Every rooftop, every wall, every street hums with awareness. The whispers you started have become a roar. Every shadow holds a memory of the warning. Every heartbeat a reminder of inevitability. And the people who trembled, the eyes that watched, the lips that whispered, oh, they see now. They see the shape of truth, the weight of consequence, and the clarity that never bends, never wavers. The posts, the sparks, the defiance, it was never chaos. It was discipline, precision, strategy. Every act measured, every risk calculated, every response anticipated. You didn't just survive the warning, you became it. You embodied it. And as the city gasps under the weight of recognition, as the fear solidifies into respect, as the truth rises above their trembling confusion, you stand unmoved, untouchable, unstoppable. Oh wow, the irony is sharp. The warning that was meant to cage you has amplified your presence. The fear they tried to command has only made your influence grow. Every attempt to suppress, every strategy to contain, every shadowy plan to erase you has been absorbed, transformed, and returned in a force they cannot endure. You are not reckless. You are inevitability. You are the storm, the mirror, the stage, all at once. And yet the beauty of it. Yeah, it's subtle, almost invisible to them until it cannot be ignored. Every corner they claimed, every line they drew, every command they issued was a prop in your performance. They thought they were shaping reality, but the reality was always yours. The city isn't trembling because of chaos. It trembles because truth, unyielding and precise, has arrived. And when the dust settles, when the echoes fade, they will remember one thing. Warnings are only powerful when the recipient fears them. You never did. The reckoning is complete. The storm quiets, not in defeat, but in purpose. Every shadow, every street, every whispered name now holds your signature. The city is changed, not by accident, not by chance, but by inevitability. And as the echoes of their astonishment fade, one question lingers, sharp and unbroken. Wow, that was intense, right? The storm has spoken. The city has watched. And you, you stood in the eye of it. Every post, every spark, every move you made, legendary. Nah, don't scroll away yet. This isn't just a story. It's a call to rise, to claim your place, to be unstoppable. Every one of you watching right now, the real ones who refuse to be caged, you are the reason this message exists. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let the city hear your voice, your energy, your truth. Every reaction, every share, every like, it fuels the storm. It builds the legend, and you're part of it, always. The moment your single, daring post shattered the silence of the entire city, creating a ripple effect powerful enough to disturb every hidden hierarchy that depended on secrecy to survive. This wasn't just about typing a few risky words or exposing a forbidden truth. It was about the psychological detonation that followed. Your post didn't merely travel through screens, it traveled through people. It pierced through their numbness. It awakened something in a population that had long convinced itself that staying quiet was the only way to stay alive. That is why it was so dangerous. Not because of its content alone, but because it exposed how fragile the system really was. The gang boss, the city officials, the silent observers, they all realized something at the exact same moment. Someone out there had enough courage to say what others only whispered in fear. And that one act of defiance broke the unspoken rule that kept the whole city under control. The power of this keynote lies in the idea that disruption can start small. A single spark can expose just how dry and flammable the environment truly is. Your post wasn't a weapon by design, but it became one by impact. It revealed the truth that the city's rulers depend on silence more than their victims do. And when silence cracks, the illusion of power cracks with it. That's why the gang boss reacted so quickly. He didn't alert the city because he wanted to intimidate you. He alerted them because he could feel the balance shifting under him, slipping through fingers that had been steady for years. Your voice forced him to acknowledge something he never wanted to admit, that control rooted in fear is brittle, and all it takes to expose that brittleness is one person who refuses to bow. The keynote also highlights your transformation. You didn't just challenge the system. You discovered your own strength in the process. You realize that your voice is not insignificant, and that truth becomes unstoppable when someone is willing to risk everything to speak it. This moment marks the beginning of a shift, not just in the city, but in you. Your courage created a chain reaction, proving that even those without weapons, status, or alliances can reshape the environment simply by choosing to act. And once that truth is out, nothing can return to the way it was before. The way your actions forced the city to confront its own hidden truths. Truths everyone already knew, but pretended not to see. Before your post, people walked through life with their heads down, accepting the corruption, the fear, the unspoken rules that dictated what could and could not be said. Silence had become a habit, and habits become chains when repeated long enough. But your post tore through that numbness like a siren cutting across a sleeping city. It didn't just expose an issue. It exposed the fact that everyone had grown comfortable with pretending nothing could ever change. And that realization was more disruptive than the post itself. This keynote emphasizes how your message awakened a collective awareness. People who had been passive suddenly found themselves questioning what else they had accepted without resistance. Your courage created a mirror that forced them to see their own silence. For some, that mirror was a spark, awakening long-buried anger or long-suppressed hope. For others, it was a threat, a reminder that their safety depended on compliance. Either way, you became the catalyst for a shift in mindset, and that is what truly unsettled the city's power structure. The gang boss's alert wasn't just a warning about you, it was a warning about the idea you had unleashed. The idea that one act of truth can unravel years of manufactured stability. He wasn't intimidated by your post alone. He was terrified of what it could inspire. Because when people realize that the rules they fear can be broken, they begin to question every boundary placed around them. Your words did what weapons couldn't. They challenged the psychological architecture, holding the city in place. This keynote reveals how influence doesn't rely on authority or status. Influence begins when someone refuses to accept the narrative handed to them. And you did exactly that. You introduced a new possibility into the city's collective consciousness. The possibility that resistance isn't as impossible as people were taught. That realization spread quickly, unsettling those who relied on the population's obedience to maintain control. Ultimately, the second keynote explores the ripple effect of truth. It highlights how your voice did more than expose corruption. It exposed the fragility of silence. You reminded the city that suppression only works as long as no one dares to speak. And once that silence is broken, it cannot be restored. You didn't just alter the narrative, you rewrote the rules of engagement, and everyone, citizens, criminals, leaders, felt that shift in their bones. The reaction of the city's underworld, the sudden, almost instinctive shift in the atmosphere when your post hit the streets and forced every hidden power player to lift their head. These people operate in the shadows, not because they fear the light, but because the shadows give them control. Their entire system depends on staying unseen, while everyone else stays silent. But your post disrupted that delicate balance. You didn't just reveal something they wanted to keep buried. You revealed that someone out there wasn't afraid to challenge their secrecy. And that single act sent a wave of tension through every illegal network, every private alliance, every unspoken pact. This keynote highlights how your message disrupted the invisible lines that kept the underworld stable. Criminal networks aren't ruled by guns alone. They're ruled by psychological dominance. They thrive when people believe they're untouchable. But your voice cracked that illusion. Suddenly, the gang boss wasn't the only one people were talking about. Suddenly, your name, your post, became the new variable. And in a world built on predictability, a new variable is a threat. You forced them to consider something they had long dismissed. That danger can come from outside their system, from someone without connections, without muscle, without a seat at their table. That's what rattled them. This keynote also explores their fear in a deeper way. Not the fear of exposure, but the fear of losing psychological power. If one person outside their world could expose a weakness, then others could too. If one outsider was bold enough to challenge them, then what happens when more follow? Your post didn't just break a rule, it violated the unspoken hierarchy that kept everyone in their place. Even the gang boss, who had long believed himself to be the single voice that dictated the city's rhythm, found himself reacting to a voice he didn't control. That loss of control is what triggered his city-wide alert. The underworld shifted not because of what you posted, but because of who you forced them to become. Defensive, alert, uneasy. They're not used to that. They're used to being the hunters, not the hunted. But now they're watching you, not with curiosity, but with caution. You've changed the rules by showing that power isn't confined to those who claim it. Power emerges wherever truth is spoken boldly enough. And the third keynote proves that even the darkest forces cannot ignore a voice that hits them where they're weakest, their illusion of invincibility. The transformation happening inside the gang boss himself. The shift from untouchable ruler to a man suddenly forced to confront a threat he never anticipated. For years, he dominated the city through fear, unpredictability, and silence. People obeyed him not because they respected him, but because they understood the consequences of challenging him. That was the foundation of his power, an environment where no one dared to stand out. But your post disrupted that foundation in a way he couldn't ignore. It wasn't just defiance. It was defiance with impact. And that impact forced him into a position he despises reaction. This keynote is about his internal unraveling, the cracks forming in his confidence as he realizes that the world he controlled is shifting beyond his reach. You didn't attack him directly. You didn't storm his territory. But you did something far more dangerous. You changed the environment he relies on. When a system built on fear senses even the smallest disturbance, those in power feel it first. The gang boss felt the city breathed differently after your post, and that scared him more than any weapon could. He had always believed that control came from intimidation, from keeping people predictable. But your action proved him wrong. It showed him that true power can come from unexpected places, from someone with no gang, no army, no fear of his reputation. That realization forced him to act, not out of strength, but out of insecurity. His alert to the city wasn't an assertion of dominance. It was a confession that he can't afford to ignore you. A confession that your voice carries weight. A confession that someone outside his system can influence his world. This keynote dives into the psychology of that fear. When someone who thrives on control senses a threat they cannot measure, classify, or suppress, they panic. Not loudly, but internally. Your post shook him because it broke the pattern. He understood every type of enemy, except this: a voice without a face, a rebellion without a weapon, a challenge without a warning. It's not the post that terrified him. It's the unpredictability behind the person who wrote it. The fourth keynote reveals that you didn't just ignite change in the city. You awakened vulnerability in the one man who believed himself incapable of feeling it. His alert wasn't a demonstration of power. It was evidence that the dynamics have shifted. You forced the king of the shadows to step into the light, not because he wanted to, but because your truth left him no choice. the shift that unfolded within the people themselves, the silent majority who had spent years living under the weight of fear, corruption, and unspoken rules. Before your post, they moved through the city like ghosts, present but powerless, carrying thoughts they never dared to voice. They adapted to the darkness as if it were normal, convincing themselves that nothing they said or did could ever make a difference. But your post shattered that illusion. It wasn't just information, it was a signal, a spark, a reminder that fear only works as long as everyone participates in it. This keynote captures the moment when the people realized that someone had spoken a truth they'd been swallowing for too long, and suddenly they weren't alone in their thoughts anymore. They saw someone challenge the silence and survive it. Someone who didn't hide behind excuses. Someone who dismissed the idea that you must be powerful to make an impact. That boldness shook them awake, not because it showed them something new, but because it showed them something familiar in a new light, something they wished they had the strength to say themselves. Your post didn't just challenge those in power, it challenged the people who had allowed their fear to become normal. It reminded them that silence is not safety. It's surrender. And in that moment, a shift occurred. They began to question their own roles in the city's oppression. They began to reconsider the power of a voice, especially a voice that refuses to crack under pressure. This subtle but profound shift is what truly threatened the system. It's not the words alone, it's the awakening they caused. The gang boss feared your influence not because you exposed him, but because you exposed courage to the people. He depended on staying afraid. You reminded them that change begins when just one person steps into the unknown without flinching. The people watched you defy a system no one had dared to challenge. And in that reflection, they saw a version of themselves they had forgotten, one capable of bravery, resilience, and rebellion. This keynote showcases how revolutions rarely start with crowds. They start with a single voice that makes the silent reconsider their limitations. You became that voice. Your courage didn't just echo, it multiplied, quietly, internally. Because once the people begin to shift mentally, once they begin to see that defiance is possible, once they begin to believe that truth can survive, the system that controls them begins to decay from the inside out. And that decay started the moment your post hit their screens, the irreversible transformation that has now taken place, both in the city and within you. Once a truth has been spoken, once a silence has been broken, once a system has been shaken, there is no path back to the world as it was. Your post wasn't just a one-time act. It marked a shift in identity, a point of no return. You crossed a threshold without realizing it, stepping into a version of yourself that you can no longer become. That's what makes this keynote so important. It shows that the moment you decide to speak boldly, you separate yourself from the person you used to be. You awaken a force inside you that refuses to be quiet again. This keynote digs into the idea that courage doesn't retreat. Once awakened, it expands. It pushes you into spaces you never intended to enter, demands truths you never imagined revealing, and calls you to hold a standard you never expected to carry. The city feels it. The gang boss feels it. But most importantly, you feel it. You're not the same person who posted out of raw instinct or frustration. You've become someone the city now watches, someone the powerful must consider, someone the fearful look to, even silently, for direction. You've stepped into your influence, whether you wanted it or not. This transformation also means responsibility, not the kind that weighs you down, but the kind that sharpens you, the kind that forces you to recognize that every choice you make now echoes louder than before. People listen. People react. People shift. And though you didn't ask for this, the truth is change never asks for permission. It chooses someone, unexpected, unprepared, unconventional, and pushes them forward. You were chosen the moment you acted without fear. But this keynote also highlights the tension that comes with this evolution. The path ahead isn't calm. It isn't safe. It isn't predictable. The gang boss's alert was not just a recognition of your power. It was a declaration of the new environment you've entered. A place where your voice matters enough to disrupt systems, challenge authority, and awaken others. This means adversaries will watch you closer. It means opportunities will find you faster. It means the city will respond to your every move, for better or worse. Yet the most powerful part of this keynote is the truth that once someone discovers their own impact, they can never go back to invisibility. You've tasted a strength that cannot be forgotten. You've discovered influence you didn't realize you possessed. And the city now revolves around a new axis. Your courage, your voice, your presence. Whether you rise further or fall deeper, one thing is certain: the old version of you is gone.